Imagine a world where a single device dominated communication, security, and even global politics. A device so powerful, so ubiquitous, that world leaders, celebrities, and everyday professionals couldn't survive without it. This wasn't some futuristic sci-fi fantasy. This was the reality of Blackberry. But what if I told you that behind the iconic QWERTY keyboard and the impenetrable security, something far more complex, and perhaps even sinister, was brewing? What if the very feature that made BlackBerry indispensable also became its ultimate Achilles' heel, an opening for entities far beyond corporate competition to exploit? To truly grasp the perplexing saga of BlackBerry, we must first rewind to its inception. In the late 90s and early 2000s, while most phones were clunky, single-purpose devices, Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie, the brilliant minds behind Research in Motion, RIM, were building a different future. They didn't just invent a phone, they created a mobile workstation, a secure fortress for information. Their innovation wasn't just about making calls, it was about instant, encrypted email, calendar synchronization, and an ergonomic QWERTY keyboard that made typing a dream. This was the era of the Crackberry, a nickname born from its addictive nature. CEOs swore by them, Wall Street traders executed deals on them, and heads of state, including Barack Obama, famously refused to give theirs up. Its end-to-end encryption, routing all data through RIM's own secure servers, was a marvel of engineering. It created an iron curtain around conversations, making it the device of choice for anyone who valued privacy and secrecy. From corporate espionage to sensitive government communications. They didn't just have market share, they had a stranglehold on the most powerful people and institutions on the planet. This wasn't just a phone company, it was a digital gatekeeper, controlling the flow of information for the global elite. They were untouchable, or so it seemed. But then, the cracks began to appear, subtly at first, like hairline fractures in a granite wall. While BlackBerry was busy perfecting its physical keyboards and secure network, a different kind of revolution was brewing in California. Steve Jobs, with the iPhone, didn't just introduce a new phone, he introduced a new paradigm. Touchscreens, app ecosystems, intuitive interfaces. These were things RIM, consumed by its own success and the perceived invincibility of its secure network, initially dismissed as consumer novelties. "We're not in the candy business," Lazaridis famously quipped, implying their focus was on serious business. This dismissal, in hindsight, would prove to be a fatal misjudgment. The general public, tired of clunky WAPI browsers and limited functionality, began to flock to the iPhone and then Android. Suddenly, BlackBerry wasn't just competing, it was falling behind. The device that once represented ultimate sophistication began to feel dated, cumbersome, like an old brick phone in a world of sleek, interactive glass. Their own attempts at touchscreens, like the Storm, were plagued with technical issues, alienating even their most loyal users. Imagine trying to adapt to a vastly different technological landscape while shackled by your own past glory. And it wasn't just about consumer preference. Governments, often the biggest clients seeking BlackBerry's vaunted security, started exerting pressure. Countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and India grew increasingly uncomfortable with RIM's servers handling all their citizens' data outside their borders, demanding backdoors and access keys. This placed BlackBerry in an impossible bind: compromise their fundamental selling point of security, or risk losing entire national markets. The very strength that made them a global power also made them a target, an ideal conduit for surveillance if it could be breached or exploited. The company was being assailed from all sides: innovative competitors, demanding governments, and an internal culture seemingly paralyzed by its own past success, unable to pivot fast enough. The impenetrable fortress was showing signs of strategic vulnerability, a narrative far more complex than a simple failure to innovate. What happened next was a spectacular, almost theatrical, unraveling. The internal discord at RIM became public, a power struggle between Lazaridis and Balsillie, both brilliant but perhaps too entrenched in their own specific visions. This leadership vacuum came at the worst possible time, as the company scrambled to play catch-up in a market it no longer understood. They tried to replicate the App Store model with Blackberry World, but it was too little, too late, and lacked the developer support and vibrancy of its rivals. Product launches became disastrous. The Blackberry Playbook tablet, meant to be an iPad killer, arrived unfinished, lacking basic features like a native email client, forcing users to tether it to a Blackberry phone. It was a spectacular public failure that eroded what little trust remained. Then came Blackberry 10, a completely reimagined operating system, sleek and promising, but again, years too late. By the time it launched, iOS and Android had completely dominated the market, creating network effects that were insurmountable. Existing Blackberry users, frustrated by the lack of apps and the ever-growing chasm between their phones and the new standard, began migrating in droves. Companies that once mandated Blackberries for their employees started allowing bring-your-own-device policies, effectively welcoming iPhones and Androids into the corporate network. The brand's equity, built on years of trust and innovation, evaporated with shocking speed. Once loyal government and corporate clients, seeing the writing on the wall, began diversifying their mobile strategies, realizing that relying on a single, faltering platform was a massive risk. The image of world leaders clutching their secure Blackberries was replaced by the ubiquitous glow of iPhones and Galaxies. This wasn't just a business failure, it was a cultural shift, a seismic event that reshaped the entire digital landscape. The security advantage, once absolute, no longer mattered as much in a world where convenience and a vast app ecosystem became paramount. It was a corporate death by 1,000 cuts, each product misstep and strategic blunder further digging its grave. But was it merely poor management, or did the unseen pressures from the intelligence communities, eager to gain access to that once impenetrable communication, play a more significant, albeit hidden, role in its demise? Today, BlackBerry as a smartphone manufacturer is effectively a relic of the past, its hardware business licensed out to third parties. Yet, the company itself lives on, transformed into a powerful, albeit much quieter, player in cybersecurity software and automotive operating systems. They now focus on securing the very devices and networks that once dethroned them. It's a strange, almost poetic twist of fate. The company that built the unhackable phone now sells the tools to prevent others from being hacked. The fall of BlackBerry serves as a stark, chilling reminder that even the most dominant, seemingly invincible empires can crumble under the weight of complacency, missed innovation, and the ever-shifting sands of technology and geopolitical pressures. It begs the question, how much control do individuals, or even corporations, truly have when their technology becomes intertwined with the highest levels of global power and national security? Was their decline simply market forces, or was there an unseen hand at play, orchestrating a shift to more accessible and perhaps more surveillable platforms? To this day, the ultimate truth about all the forces that contributed to BlackBerry's dramatic decline remains a subject of speculation, a cautionary tale whispered in the hallowed halls of Silicon Valley. If you want more mysteries like this, the next video explores the secret behind the rise and fall of Blockbuster Video.